Okay, everyone, we start off, and welcome to my prayer for you. And this is the first workshop that is getting webcast. So everybody who's here right now, tuned in, welcome. I'm so happy to see so many familiar faces and so many new faces. And the whole point of this workshop is actually not to tell you what to do, but for you to be able to find out for yourself how to find your life, how to live your life, how to lead your life. That's all the answers. The answers are not the same for every person. You might want to lead your life differently and you might lead it completely differently. And yet nobody is wrong and everyone is right. And you just don't know why you are getting stuck. So the answers to why something is happening to you, why things are happening, that's the only answer that you are going to be able to find to every why. So when I started out, my journey was actually that of an investment banker. I was an investment banker for almost 20-25 years. And then suddenly about 5 years ago, all of this stuff started to happen to me, that I used to be sitting at my desk and suddenly I would actually be receiving answers that I didn't even know existed. You know, my hand was writing and it was writing crazy stuff. So I didn't know, why these answers were coming to me. I didn't even have questions. I was simply actually just leading my life, doing my thing, and I didn't have any questions. And yet, when all of this started to happen, these were questions that were being answered, but not my questions. But questions were beautiful and the answers were even more beautiful and very, very simple. So as all of this started to happen, I started to listen to that guidance. And now I teach people how to access that guidance. It started to happen to me, and people call it auto writing. It started to happen to me all by itself, all on its own. But it took me some part in my journey, and as the journey started, then everybody started to come to me for their messages. And I would sit and be able to take messages for many people, and I would tell them, read these messages for 30 days, for 60 days. And then as you start to read these messages, the vibration from where the message has come is going to start to seep into you as well. Everything is energy, and we will talk about it in more detail. So in case you were thinking that this is a spirituality workshop, no, you're absolutely wrong. This is a Science 101. I'm only going to talk in terms of energy, and I'm a TV mechanic, and that's, you all are the televisions that are getting tuned in right now to the channel. And that's as simple as that. All of us are energy. Einstein has already proven that to us, right? I mean, he's already said everything is energy. So if the table is energy, the chair is energy, the pen is energy, my bangle is energy, then what makes me think that this is not energy? Then this is energy as well, right? But how many times in a day do we actually look at our energies and act from there? How many times do we look at, not just this body, but I'm much larger than this body? How many times do we actually do that in a day? Very few. Well, if you've already been to MPFY, then all the time, or at least that's the goal, that we are all wanting to get to. But if we haven't, then very rarely do we actually look beyond our family, beyond our situations, beyond, what we are experiencing right now. So what I'm going to do at the outset is start to talk a little bit about energy, because that's what we are. That's who we are, right? We are energy. And how is it that we are energy? And what is it that our energy is comprising of? And what do we need to understand about this life, about our universe that we are creating? Okay, so all ready for the Science 101? Yes. Yay, okay. So as we talk about it, I just said the body is energy, right? Our body is energy. And then we start to talk about things called Atman. Everybody heard of Atman before? The soul. People understand the word soul. So what is soul? What is soul? The soul is nothing but energy. When you ask you the question and you don't know the answer to anything, you should just be saying energy. because that will be 99% right. Unless I ask you, are you hungry? And then you say energy, then that's where you're wrong, but maybe not. But everything. So what is soul? Energy. Why do we say that soul is energy? You know, have you ever heard people saying that, yeah, when we die, the soul never gets destroyed? Well, in physics, what's the one thing that doesn't get destroyed? Energy. Yay! I have a brilliant class right here. So energy is a thing that doesn't get destroyed, right? What is Atman then? Energy. God. What do you think God is? Energy. We are such smart people in the room and out there, right? You already know all the answers. Okay, we're done. You can go back home now. So why is God energy? What do we talk about God? We say God is present everywhere. Right? वो हर जगह मौजूद है. God is everywhere. God is all over, and God is in everything. Right? Now guess what's in everything? Energy. Yay! Okay. So now that we've established that everything that we are and everything that we look around, this is not empty space. This is not empty space at all. This is filled with energy. Right? Who are we? Am I just this body? No. This is the body, and as I have been able to understand, the experiencer. This is the form that we take to experience all that exists in our energies. We are not just this. This is 1%. And then we have the 99%. That's energy. So give me a minute and I will be explaining to you. Can you get me that? Is the voice quality okay on the webcasts? Yeah? Fabulous. Thank you guys for being here. All right. So, yeah, and you can just put that. Bring me that. Please help. Wait. Okay, so while that's happening, let me just start to talk of this. So here we are, and over here you'll see a little fellow body, which is the 1%, which is who we are as the body, right? Right in the middle, you see this 1%, and that 1% is actually the body, right? And then what else do we have? We have all our emotions. All the emotions. And why are they out there? Because that is actually what comprises. Thank you. Yeah. I'm going to put it this way. Yeah. Perfect. Everybody can see? Everybody can see?
Mommy,
a little more to the angle? Further out?
back. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Oh, mommy is now stuck. I'm stuck at the back, darling. Yes, thank you. Okay, so as we have everything over here, you will understand that 1% is the body and the 99% is actually our emotions. How many of us feel emotions? How many of us feel emotions throughout the day? How many of us will actually be, even spending half our nights tossing and turning because we are still, in the emotion of something that's happened, right? And we're constantly thinking and rethinking of everything that's happening. Now, what happens? What happens as we create all of these emotions? Where do they go? So the one thing that, let's say that my son is told me that he's going to be back home at 5 in the evening, and now he's not back home, and now it's 7:30, right? Now I'll be starting to worry. Now what if it's 9:30? I'll be worrying some more. Now what if it's 12 o'clock, 1 a.m. and he's not showed up, he's not written to you? Now what is it that what is it that your entire body is creating for you? Anxiety, worry, fears, absolutely, right? So you're sitting in anxiety, worry and fear. And now the fellow decides to land up at 2 a.m. And then he says, you know, you can't believe what happened to me today. You know, my phone was stolen, my car got stolen, something happened, and I've just made my way back after going to the police and all of this stuff, and I couldn't just call you. And now you heave a big sigh of relief, right? And all is okay in your world, right? No, wrong. What did you do in the past 4 hours? You worried. Where do you think that worry went?
Into your office.
Into your energies, right? So your energy field holds everything that you are creating every minute. And the more you give thought to it, the more you give energy, so to speak, to that, the more you give energy to any thought. Thoughts are electromagnetic impulses. So the more you give energy to any thought, that is what starts to become your energetic field. It becomes you, right? And so you find many people who are completely like, you give them anything and they'll find things to worry about. You'll tell them like, oh, I'm baking a cake today. Oh my God, did you buy the right ingredients? Is it going to burn? Like, did you put the temperature oven at 200 or whatever? And like, oh, you're going for a holiday today. They will find something. They will find something to worry about, because that's become their energies field. And when we are unawares, when we do not understand this part, then what is it that we do? Every emotion that we tune into, every single emotion that we tune into, we start to go into that direction. We can't catch it. We don't know how to catch it. Okay? So as we don't know how to catch it, what is it that we begin to do? The person who is worrying, or the person who's sitting in sadness, the person will keep growing that feeling. When your son goes out and doesn't come back till 2 a.m., now you've already worried like crazy. Did it really help the son that you were sitting at home and worrying? Was he able to feel much better? As a matter of fact, not. He couldn't be feeling much better, because what is it that you were constantly sending to him? Worry. It's energy. So in your energies, you were actually sending a very specific form of energy to him. And what was that beautiful form? That of worry. Right? You were constantly sending that. I'm going to go sit there. It'll be cooler there. Yeah. It'll be cooler at the back if people want to move there. So what is it that you are constantly creating, and how to start to observe that? All these big books and big, gurus and everything, they always kind of, tell you, observe. So when I was a banker and I would say like observe, I couldn't understand what the word observe meant. What am I supposed to observe? Like, I go out, look at every person and observe you. And then I started to figure out, well, I didn't figure out. But when the answers started to come to me, it was like, Bevkoof, bahar nahi dekhne ka hai. You have to just observe within. Now within, again I'm stuck. I don't know what to observe within. What is it that I have to observe within? My wrinkles or my lines. What is it that I need to observe? I have to simply observe my thoughts. I have to simply observe my emotions at each point in time. And now I become so tuned into it that every time, even while I'm like screaming and shouting at people, and I can be throwing a tantrum, a complete tantrum. But while the tantrum is happening outside, all my thoughts are inside, and I'm observing, oh, okay, tantrum happening, watching, 1, 2, 3, shift. And when I do this 1, 2, 3 shift, a tantrum or a sadness or an anger that could have gone on for months and weeks. Oh, I was this very, very angry person, and this temper tantrum could have gone on for weeks and weeks. But now, the minute I observe it, I'm already starting to see that, I'm attuned into temper frequency, I'm tuned into sadness frequency, and that's the minute that it starts to change as well. It just starts to change immediately. So what does it need? It needs your observation. And we give you 100 tools, but who has to do the tools? You ourselves. Well, you yourselves, right? So I can give you 100 tools, but they're all tools of observation. So the first thing that you do have to do is observe yourself, and then you will have the help from the tools to be able to shift those, right? So we will start off with just first an explanation and understanding of who we are, right? We are energy. Now each one has this 99 and 1%, but the composition is different, right? Because I might have, 3% attachment, but I might have like 100% fears. Well, 3 minus 100, so now I'm 103% energy. Well, maths was my major subject. You can see how good I am at it right now, right? So as we start to look into our energies, the two main energies that we operate from are fear and guilt. Okay, as a matter of fact, we even brush our teeth morning and evening from fear. Why? Because it is social conditioning. Our parents told us our teeth wouldn't last, right? If we don't brush them twice a day, the teeth won't last, right? Now that has become a program inside of you, that the teeth won't last. Okay, guess what will happen if you actually don't brush for 2 weeks? I'm sure three of them will fall off. Why? Because it's a program now, and everything is your program. And the universe has one job, and that's to prove you right. The universe only has one job, okay? Because what is the universe?
Energy.
Yay. Okay, so since everything is energy and the universe is energy as well, what is it that you're attracting? What is it that you're attracting from those fields outside as well? You and your energetic field, when you sit down and worry too much, what is it that you're attracting from the universe? More energies of worry. And as there are more energies of worry, what's going to start happening? Your joy is going to shrink, right? I mean, you can't be worrying and joyful at the same time. So obviously, some of these will start to shrink. If joy was, let's say, 20%, now you worried so much, now joy has shrunk down to 10%, right? And now you're operating from that. Unless you recognize this piece and consciously move over to being more joyful, what is going to happen? As you consciously move over to being joyful, you will be increasing the joy frequencies. But if you don't consciously move towards doing that, now you're 60% worry and 20% joy and 20% peace. What is bound to happen more in your day? 60, 20, 20. There will be more things that will worry you. There will be 20% things that will give you joy, and there will be 20% things that might bring you peace. Everybody kind of understand how we operate right now, and this is very, very important for us to understand, especially because as we start to look into ourselves, we are constantly engaging with the universe outside, right? I mean, in my life, I have a wonderful husband, and I have a terrible mother, and I have a, okay to do father, and my children, oh God, one of my child is absolutely wonderful, and the other is complete crap. We are always looking on the outside and starting to judge as to what our universe is made of. But guess what our universe is made of? Our universe is made up of our energies. So my universe is made of my energy, and your universe is made of your energy. If you and I collide in a setting, let's say you are part of my family, even then the equations are not the same. Why? Because there is actually nothing called family. What is family? A family is a bond that, somebody took birth from your womb. The other day I was talking about, this mother-child relationship, and the guidance that came to me was, you have an oven, okay? And something got baked in an oven. And now you want to just put your paws on that oven and say, this is all mine. Okay? So if a baker was to actually start putting his paws onto everything that he is baking, he'd be like 400 kilos fat and really only dying of diabetes. But no, that's a program. So the whole point is that yes, somebody used your oven to create themselves. They were already energy. they are still energy. If they are energy, if your child is energy, if your husband is energy, your grandfather is energy, your friends are energy, then guess what? They come with their own set. They come with their own set. And yet they are in your setting. Why? Because each of us have roles to play. Each of us have roles to play. What happens is that every part of me is actually this. This is the bigger part of me, right? I've got anger, I've got fear, I've got trust, I've got lack, I've got all of these emotions, right? And they all constitute me in different parts. As they constitute me, do I know what I hold within me? I can actually see what my day is made of, but do I actually even know what I'm made of? No. How will I find out what I'm made of? That is what all of these actors are showing me. So everybody outside, if I am not receiving love from people, what does it mean? That I don't have love within me. And when I talk of love, I only talk of one kind of love. The people who've been here before will know all this too well, because the only love there is self-love. Only self-love. Why is there only self-love? Why is there only self-love? Because if I have self-love in my energies, if I love myself to the core in my energies, guess what is going to happen? The whole universe is going to love me. Right? Because I have love for myself, what is everybody going to reflect? Right? So I decided to kind of cut out everything else and only stick to this self-love. I'll give the mantra to you as well, and okay, I'll share it, but guess what you have to give back in return to me? Love to me. Because I'm filled with self-love, so everybody gets to give me love. The more you love yourself, and you don't have to love anyone else. And then people ask me, isn't that too selfish? That I don't love anyone else. Well, when you are born, when a child is born, okay, when a child is 3 days old, who does it love? You'll say the mother, and I'll say bollocks. Okay? Does the child wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning and say, oh, mama is sleeping after 3 hours. No. Let me not wake her up. Poor thing is so tired. No, the child couldn't care a damn, right? This is what I want right now. If I'm ready to pee, if I've done susu potty, whatever it is, well, get up and clean me up. That's your job. Who is it showing love towards? Itself. Only itself. So when we are babies, when we are young, then we only know how to love ourselves. And then our papas and mamas will be telling us, say, beta, I love you, I love you. Yeah. They never say, beta, understand, I love me. I love me. Right? They will always teach you to say, I love you. Okay? And that becomes our game then, the conditioning. But can I start to blame my parents that I got this conditioning? Unfortunately, I came with that energies field. I came with that energies field where I wanted to experience lack of self-love. And then I wanted to make my way towards self-love. So as I'm making my way towards lack of self-love, the whole stage is set right from the beginning, from the day I'm born itself, right? I'm born and within a year or two, now I'm constantly looking outside. I'm looking for approvals. I'm looking at grades. I'm looking at, ways to perform so that I can receive love. But I was already loved to begin with, and now that part is forgotten, right? So we have to come back to that understanding of self-love. The more we are sitting on the other end, the more we get to experience rejections. What is rejection? Rejection is not somebody else rejecting you. Rejection is sitting right here, just an experience that needs to be experiencing. There is nothing called negative energy. I'm sure that you are looking at this list and saying, oh, half of these things are positive and the other things are negative, right? I'm in sadness, nobody counts as a positive feeling. But what is positive and negative? In the energy, you have no positives and negatives. Everything is simply energy. So as you are sitting in the energies, You are experiencing sadness and then you say, but I don't like this feeling. Yes, accept it. Allow it. Accept it. Allow it. As you accept and allow all your feelings to happen, what will start to happen? You are accepting the whole of yourself. Okay? The whole of yourself is what you're accepting. And now we come to the first tool of the workshop. Okay? On your notebooks, I want you all to start writing of everything that you describe yourself as. All the ways that you describe yourself as, you make a list. 1, 2, 3, 4, you make a list. Okay? The ways that you describe. Notebooks, please raise your hands if you don't have notebooks, and we'll go around and give you some. So everyone will simply sit and write down all the adjectives. You remember grammar? Well, I don't. So here are the adjectives. I am so beautiful. You know, so you will write over there, so beautiful. And then you will write, okay, confident or not, or whatever. And I love to lie. Okay, you know, so well, I'll write over there that I'm a liar as well. Be truthful to yourself. You're writing all the adjectives how you would describe yourself. Describe yourself on that piece of paper, everything that you think you are. Everything that you think that you are, simply describe yourself. Five minutes we can have the fans on. No? Is it cool enough that side? Yeah. Is it okay?
Yeah, it's perfect.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you might want some help from all of these. You know, are you the guilty kinds? Are you the angry kinds? Here are several adjectives right here. Right? So writing down as to who all you are. And now the work is done and I'm going to remove this. Are you trustworthy? Are you not trustworthy? You could be writing anything. The good and the bad. Because there is nothing called bad. Okay, I shouldn't be going there. Please lift this and put it away. Or maybe you can just move it a little bit to the side. No, darling, this. Isko nahi hata ke rakh do. That's it. Huh? Okay. So make a list of the few top things that come to mind. Make a list of the few top things that come to mind. And that's you. You've been able to define yourself. Now on the other side of the paper, write all the opposites. So if you wrote trustworthy, then you can write over there untrustworthy. If you wrote beautiful, then you write ugly. You know, if you write fat, then you write thin. You know, whatever. Just write the opposites on the other side of the paper. Right? And in the energies, you are everything. You are this and that. And in the body, it has expressed only in some parts because the body is a part experiencer and that's it. The body is only 1%. It can't experience everything, so it expressed some and it suppressed some of you. The full part of you didn't get expressed. So there are qualities in you that got super expressed and there are qualities of yours that got suppressed. But there are still qualities of yours. So you are everything. So if you are trustworthy and yet there comes an opportunity when then you can't be trustworthy and then you judge yourselves dime to a dozen that, oh God, how could I do this? How could I break the trust? How could I whatever? Now what are you sitting in? Now you are sitting in guilt, right? So releasing the judgments towards yourself is going to be one big part of the exercise. We will come to that exercise, and we will teach you how to start releasing. But the main part that you got to release is judgments towards yourself. Judgments towards yourself. Why not anybody else? Why not judgments towards anybody else? There is no other. It's you and your energy that's playing out in the universe. In your universe, if there's somebody that you meet that's completely untrustworthy, it's not them. It's not them. It's actually you, your suppressed part, that's now showing up as them. It still exists in your energies. It is part of your energies. You understand where I'm coming from? There is nothing that is not your energy, except that there is a part that you have accepted and there's a part that you are rejecting. That rejection is also only of yourself. So you have to start to allow and to accept all parts of yourself. And when you start to do that, that's what we call as self-love. Self-love is not treating yourself to a spa. Too many people think that that's an expression of self-love. No, that's not true self-love. You can do that all the time. I love a good spa. But it's not what unconditional love for the self stands for. Unconditional love for the self is actually when you're able to express love no matter who you are. No matter what you are in that moment, when you are able to express love towards yourself, when you say, we find too many judgments for ourselves. I'm a good mother, I'm a bad mother. I'm a good parent, I'm a bad parent. I'm a good worker, I'm a bad worker. I'm a success, I'm a failure, right? I'm a success at my business, I'm a failure at my business. And we find just too many of these judgments that we are taking towards ourselves. And what we can start to do now is actually to start releasing those judgments that we have for ourselves. Because we have to just love ourselves for whoever we are. Okay? So now here comes the next tool. And this is the tool for the expression of love to the self. So many people actually tell me that they don't love themselves, and it's really amazing. They could be the most beautiful looking, most pretty person, you would look from the outside and think that, wow, this woman is gorgeous or this man is so good looking. And then they actually come to me and say, I don't love myself. I haven't, I have done things that I'm ashamed of, right? And I want to right those things. I've done wrong and I want to right those things, right? And the only way that you right those things is by releasing the judgments that you did wrong. That's it. You actually don't have to go out to people and start to correct everything that you did wrong. No, you simply have to. You are sitting in guilt. And so what you have to do is actually to release the guilt rather than act in guilt. All too often, we want to make the difference outside. All too often, we want to do action. Okay? Oh, I've done this. This is not correct. I need to correct it by doing this. And then we overcompensate in actions. Okay? And what's happening? As we start to take the action, okay, where are we coming from? Let's say I forget to give lunch to my daughter today. Okay, and she comes back home and now she's hungry for, 3 full hours, and I forgot to give her lunch. And now what am I sitting in? Complete guilt, right? And now I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And come, let's go out for shopping and let's do this and let's do that. And let's go out for the favorite movie. Let me spend another, $3,000 on you or something like that, right? What are we doing? We are taking action. What are we doing it for? To make them feel better. Their body is 1% and my body is 1%. Remember that chart? Yeah? Their body is 1%, my body is 1%. My energy is 99%. Your energy is 99%. My 1% body is doing all kinds of nice things to you. What is my 99% giving to you? Guilt. Where am I operating from? From guilt. What are they receiving? Guilt. right? Your guilt. What are they going to show to you? How could you do that? Oh my God, you're just the worst mother ever, right? How could you just do that? And they are going to be showing you more guilt. Why? Because you're operating from guilt. So instead of guilt, first you release that guilt and then say, oh, I forgot, whoops. Okay, and you'll be able to say that A, you dropped the guilt, B, you dropped the judgment on yourself, right? And now you're not judging yourself, and guess what they'll give you? Zero judgment. Because what are they supposed to reflect at you? It's the judgment that you hold for yourself. And then people say, oh, I tried it today, but it didn't work all the way. But why not? Because there is already, all the energies that's sitting still in you. So if it didn't change today, let's say you did something and it didn't change just right off the bat, though you will actually start to see the difference. But let's say if it didn't change today, then what have you to do? Go out and buy her more ice cream? No. You've got to sit and release more guilt. You've got to release more guilt, and I will tell you how to go back to various sources of guilt. Because energy, when we create energy at any point in time, there's a property of energy that we need to understand. Energy cannot be destroyed. Energy cannot be created. Energy can be transformed, right? Itna physics aa gaya isme, right? Oh, too much. We're like mini Einsteins all by ourselves. So if the energy cannot be destroyed and energy cannot be created, then what has actually happened? If something happened 3 years ago, or 5 years ago, or 25 years ago, or maybe 25 lives ago, right? And energy got created. Guess what's happening? The energy is still there. In that 99%, that energy still exists. It's gone nowhere. And when people say, oh, time makes everything better and time heals everything, bollocks. Okay? Time heals nothing because energy doesn't play in time and space. In that moment, something will simply get suppressed. Yes, time is good for suppression. Time is very good for suppression. But time does not heal anything at all, because energy does not play in time, energy does not play in space. So you got to transform the energy that you are holding. You are sitting with 100,000 judgments on yourself. You are sitting with many different guilts and fears that God created not just today, but maybe even several lives earlier. And now we will be simply teaching you a very, very simple tool to start to release those energies. And you will actually feel the difference right away. So here's the process, and I call it the positivity process, the candle process. It's my one thing to go to, okay? When I started this journey and I didn't know anything at all, this is what was given to me, and this is the only thing that was given to me for 3 years. Okay, no, not 3 years, 2.5 years. Okay, let's be accurate. But it was the only thing that was given to me for 2.5 years, and just through doing the candle, I was able to literally change so many relationships in my life, to change so many situations in my life, right? So all that you need to do is to become aware. Why do I use the candle? Because the candle is something that is the source of transformation in every religion. Everybody lights a candle. In a mandir, in a masjid, in a church, in Parsi temples, they call it the fire temple. They are using fire for transformation of energies. Why do the Hindus have those yagnas in their house? They say, oh, we're going to change the energies of the house, right? So as you are changing the energies of the house, what is actually happening? Yes, in that moment, the energy of the house is changing. The fire is transforming, and in that moment, the energy is changing. However, what happens again? You haven't changed yourself. So what are you creating right back the next moment? You are creating the same energy back again, and that's why, doing 28 yagnas in a month might not work, right? You have to not change the energy of the house. The house is carrying your energy. You simply have to change your energies. You simply have to change your energies. Yeah. So with this, the candle tool that we use, now I'm starting to kind of talk about the candle tool. I'll be using this snippet as a small piece. So Kamal, close up as well. Yeah? Yeah, fabulous. Okay. So what is it that we do? I need a candle.
Yeah, come on.
Yes, darling. Okay. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. So everybody, now I'll just wait for her to finish. No, it's not hot. It shouldn't be. It's a double layer. Hold it from the bottom. It's not hot. It's a double layer diya. It won't get hot for the time that we're doing this.
So we have to.
Yeah. Give anybody feel it won't be hot. So these diyas of mine are famous, and everybody who comes to this workshop, I have a feeling they come more for the diyas and not to listen to me. So the diyas are meant for you. After you are done with this, please remember to take them, keep them with you, let them solidify, and then so the candle process is something that everyone is aware of, and here is what you need: actually a candle. And if not in the physicality, there's a need. Everybody's done with the candles in hand? Coming. Cheers. Okay, no conversations, please. No conversations. Thank you. I'm like a real tough master today. Huh. No, my workshops are normally not like that, but this is all for those people. So the energy that we hold, why are we looking at the candle? Again, as we said, there is a transformation. There's a transformation that we want to do through this tool. There's a transformation. There's a transformation that we are looking to do through the candle. As we look into the candle, what is it that we want to do? We simply want to look at the candle and anything and everything that's bothering us. Something might have happened today, something might have happened yesterday, something might have happened 40 years ago. But as it comes into your recognition, into your memory, even right now, if something comes into your mind right now, and that something is bothering you, simply release the emotion into the candle. Simply allow yourself to be in the candle and say, as you talk to the candle, talk to the candle. Talk to the candle and give away everything that's bothering you. Look into the emotions. Look into the emotions and start to release those emotions into the candle. Sadness into the candle. Fears into the candle. If you're feeling angry with your husband, anger into the candle, please. Not the husband. And you will start to feel about 2 to 3% lighter. And that's all that is needed. You will start to feel that there is something working over here and that's being released into the candle. And that's all that is needed. You don't need to work on it for the long time. Put it down. You can just blow the candle off and you can put it down. And that's all. This process you will only do for about 2 minutes. That's all that needs to be done. Only for about 2 minutes. Okay, everybody done? People feeling lighter? 2 to 3% is actually all that is needed. Why? Because you can't be depositing everything at one shot. People are like, I did it and it's come back again. Oh, well, I'm so sorry to hear that. You know, about 30 years of whatever you collected and you're like, 30 seconds ho to gaya abhi. Now it should be done, you know. So it doesn't work quite like that, but this is the only way that it works. People will come and tell me, I've been releasing for the past 3 weeks. And you know what? Even now I'm getting angry. That's all right. When you are still getting angry or somebody is still creating anger in you, it's only that they are trying to tell you that anger energy still exists within you. You allow it, you accept it. You allow it, you accept it, and then you release it. You do not fear it and then release it. 100 times people will come to me and say, you know, I don't want to get angry. Please take this away. Now what is it? Now it's not just anger. It's anger plus fear of anger. Now you got 2 things to drop. So you allow your anger. When people come to me and say, do I actually, you know, shout at somebody? I just don't want to shout at them. I want to suppress this. And I say suppression is not the answer. Suppression of emotion is absolutely not the answer. What we are trying to do over here is not suppression. What we are trying to do over here is observation. Okay? In the meanwhile, if you can't suppress it, don't suppress it. Who is expressing the 1% body? Who is expressing the 1% body? Who has the energies and what can you give to the other person?